Okay, we are live, and I am having fun here. So, just getting the last couple things set up, as it always has a little bit of interesting difficulties. I don't know if they're really difficulties as much as just computer fun. And I have to say, I am sorry for those of you who were here for. I had set it up for last Wednesday, and I ran into several computer issues and wasn't able to get it up and going. Really kind of, yeah, it drove me crazy, and I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but I'm here today, so we're good to go. So let's actually answer some questions. It looks like there are a few people in the chat already. Wow, cool. John, Brad, hey Brad, I was just sending you a couple emails, and Jordan, hey. Let's see. First question. Felix Espana asked me the question of how many channels are you currently subscribed to, and how do you find time to watch them all or keep up to date with them? I'm currently subscribed to around 500. I get notifications from almost 400. I know that's a lot, and it's kind of crazy, and I usually get 70 to 100 email notifications every day of new videos up. And I go through them, and if there's something that intrigues me or a channel I particularly really want to watch, then I watch them. I don't watch them all. I probably watch 20 or so a day. But yeah, even that's a pain, and well, not a pain, but just a lot. So I'm always looking for things that might intrigue me or be along the lines of what I'm doing, or people particularly I want to watch. And so I will watch their videos. The other thing I do is I actually, let me just turn my phone off, it's dinging at me. Hey, vibrate and mute. The other thing I do a lot of is I'll watch them at 2 times speed. And I actually have an app where I can increase them up to 3 times speed. And once you get used to watching at that, you can do it. I don't do that for the artistic videos because they're intended to be watched at that speed, and I like that. But when you're looking at them for interesting ideas or for, you know, how did they do it, then speeding things up can actually be very beneficial. And it works really well. You get all the content without the problem of it. So yeah, that's basically what I do. I spend a large majority of every day watching videos. I have to stay up current with it because I am on YouTube. That is now my what I do. And the nice thing about it is I can do it just about anywhere on my phone, on my couch, or wherever. So I can fit into the gaps of the day that other things don't fit into. But yeah, hope that answers your question. Let's see. Brad, hey, you're on here. You asked the question, what options did you consider for securing the top of the dresser to the carcass? There are a lot of different ways. The most traditional method is actually to run a screw up through the carcass into the top. And if you leave the hole that it goes through in the carcass loose so that the screw can move around, then it can move with the movement of the wood and not be a lot of a problem. I don't really like that. I don't know. It just seems very... it works great. It's a fantastic way of doing it, just not as the way I wanted to do it. The other common way currently is to make a little clip. And so you put a groove in the carcass all the way around, just underneath the top. And so you put a groove. This clip will then fit into that groove and can slide in that groove. And then a screw goes through that clip into the top, so that as expansion and contraction happens, that clip can slide around. Yeah, I like that, but I don't like putting a groove all the way around, and I really don't. It's not for me. The really most elegant way to do it is with sliding dovetails. In other words, you put the top rail of your skirt is actually a sliding dovetail, and that way the expansion and contraction can occur along the length of that sliding dovetail, and that is a really cool way of doing it, but it would have to fit the aesthetic, and I wasn't ready to do that on this particular build. And I don't think the sliding dovetail would have been strong enough to be able to pick up this weight of the carcass. So I decided not to do that. The way I went with these figure 8 clips is one of the strongest ways, especially with these clips. They're really heavy duty and can withstand a lot of force. And they're fairly simple. I like the way they go on. They have a feel that I enjoy, and so I guess that's kind of why I picked them. So long long answer to that. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'm going to start actually going down through the comments and seeing if there's any questions in there. So, yeah. Let's see who else is in here. Excuses. Sorry, Brad. I had a couple of people like, where are you? I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't make it. My computer's having issues. I almost had a problem again today with the encoder, but it finally worked out. So technology is always an issue. Hey, Fred, how's it going? Terry, Soyhan. I hope I'm saying that right. He asked the question, is there any way to understand my wood is a basswood or what? I'm guessing you're asking, is there a way to determine if it is basswood? The best way to determine it is look at the leaves from the trees it came from. But other than that, really only experience will give you a good idea. There are some chemical tests you can do on particular pieces of wood, but even those have a few issues. I haven't had a whole lot of experience with basswood. It has a tendency to look kind of like poplar, but usually a very white, and there aren't a lot of color changes like poplar. It's fairly soft in comparison to most hardwoods. It is a diffuse porous wood. In other words, there aren't any rings of, you can actually see the holes like you do for oak. But really, I can't give you a good way of saying, is it that? One of the best ways to actually look up for particular types of woods is do a Google search for pictures of basswood. And you will get 1,000 pictures of basswood, and there's probably a few in there that aren't basswood, but were labeled as basswood. And you can kind of get an idea of what it is and get a good guess. So I hope that answered your question. Sorry, Soyhan? I think I'm saying it right. Terry, question. I just can't get sharp with my tools. I have 1,000, 4,000 Waterstone and a 600, 1,200, 800 diamond stones. Should this be enough? Yes, actually, the 3 stones, the 3 diamond plates that I use are the DMT. They're extra coarse, medium fine, and extra fine. I think it's only the 6,000 grit. When you get into diamond stones, grits don't make any bit of difference. They're kind of a worthless number. So identifying a diamond stone by its grit is very confusing because it's a different measurement, a different way they cut. Usually I go to a strop after that, but you can make a blade sharp enough at just 600 grit. It's not going to leave you with a clean cut, but 600 grit will give you a good sharp blade. It has more to do with the form of how you're doing it. I see you're using Rob Cosman's technique with I'm guessing the putting a slight back bevel with the ruler trick. That works great. If you're doing it with freehand, it is learning that muscle memory. A lot of people tend to bevel it as they're going, and so their blade angle isn't maintaining the same as it moves across. It's actually lowering as they get to the far end and raising back up. And so because of that, you bevel it. And when you get all the way to the end, you're actually just cutting the very tip. And so you're grinding off your tip, and then as you come back in, then you're not even touching your tip, and it's a lower angle. I think a lot of people have issue with that when they're first learning to sharpen by hand without a jig. And it's more or less about learning to lock your body in place and move your entire body rather than just your arms. So that's, it's really something that you have to learn with. I mean, I could stand right beside you and walk you through it. And, if your muscles aren't locked in place and doing what they're supposed to do, I can't help you. It's just something you got to learn over time. When I first got started sharpening, I probably spent about a month with what I considered sharp. And then I found I could do it a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And over the course of about 6 months to a year, it finally got that muscle memory. And now I can sharpen a blade like that, and I don't have to even think about it. So it's just something you have to learn. The only other way to get around that is to get a jig. And there's no problem with that. Jigs have great use. And if you can actually use the jig, then fantastic. But yeah, the stones you're using, fantastic. You can get sharp with any of those. Even if I like to end up with a strop, it just kind of buffs out the edge, and you get a little bit flatter edge. as my final, and the strop ends up being like if you compare to a grit, like a 16,000 or 20,000 grit. So yeah, hope that answers your question. Probably not, but sorry. Tom, longtime viewer, first time watcher, first time watching a live show. Good to have you, Tom. Badger Workshop, hello, hello. What got you started on YouTube? This is from Josh Zacher. This is my 8th YouTube channel. I just have this weird knack for anytime I start doing things, I catalog it and I shoot videos of what I'm doing and I put them on a place where I can store them. And YouTube is great for that. So I have a lot of personal channels that I keep up, or semi-personal channels that are open to the public, and I don't care if anyone watches them, but they're more or less a holding place for information for me. And that's kind of what this one started out with. If you go back, I've actually kept every single video I put on this channel from the time I started working with hand tools all the way through to now. So if you go back and look at my first few videos, you can see where I began. And I was really just kind of cataloging things. I kind of had the idea that I might want to make a channel with this. It was an interesting topic. And I was just cataloging information for myself. And I called myself the Wright shop. And I wasn't anything against Roy Underhill or anything like that. Just my last name's Wright, and so the Wright. and yeah, I had fun with it. But then suddenly people started watching what I was doing, and it was like, oh, okay, this could be a channel. And before I knew it, I had like 300-400 subscribers before I even tried anything. And at that point, I suddenly realized, yeah, I should probably actually clean this up and make it more of a channel space. So, yeah, it's where I am today. But yeah, if you want to go see those, I do have playlists where you can actually watch everything from a particular year of when I started. Brad, I think I'm going to use clip idea for my table. Cool. Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways of doing it. You just have to, the only thing you have to be concerned about is the wood movement. And a lot of people get really bent out of shape with wood movement, particularly with like the top on a table. So if these fingers of my hand are like the wood grains, imagine I have the top of the table turned so you can see it. And if these are the wood grains, the table isn't going to expand and contract in this direction much. Like my fingers, I can't pull them apart. I can't really expand and contract them. So if I were to put a screw through here and a screw through here, there wouldn't be any problem. The problem comes if I put a screw here and a screw here. Then as the wood fibers expand and contract, it's pushing those screws farther apart. Either it's going to split the wood when it tries to pull together, or it's going to compress the fibers when it tries to push apart. And so you just have to think about that from the front to the back of your top, so that the grain can actually expand and contract. That's why if you had like a sliding dovetail going across it, it could slide on that sliding dovetail and not be a problem. Or if you have clips that can then run in a groove, each of those clips would then be allowed to slide. And the figure eights actually can rotate, so they can turn with the wood movement. And that's one of the things I kind of like about them. But yeah, don't overthink wood movement, but it is something to have in mind. If any of you have comments, go ahead and leave them in the chat section, and I will get to them as I can. I'm just reading down through them right now. Burley Woodworks. Burley Woodworks. Another good YouTube channel. Definitely go check him out. Hey, James. Nice to see you. Thanks, man. Hey, John. How's it going? From PA. I just was looking at that spoke shave you gave me the other day, and it's in my pile of things I want to restore. And John gave me this massive spoke shave. I mean, the blade is like 4 inches wide. Just huge, and I'm really looking forward to restoring that. But I have a whole lot of things I want to restore. I'm in the process of rearranging the shop, and actually just today I removed everything from the end of my shop so I can put up lights. Hopefully my lights are going to be coming tomorrow. So I have LED lights that are low profile, so I can strap them straight to the joists and not actually have a problem with hitting my head. So I'm really looking forward to that. When are you getting your jointer running? Some of you may have seen the jointer I got a while ago, and it's an old beast, and it has a motor, but I highly doubt the motor is any good on it. One of these days I actually want to get a pedal power and a flywheel that I can hook up to the jointer and actually joint things with the pedal power. I thought that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, we will see. Let's see. Greetings from Russia, smuggler. Howdy. Hey, TJ, how's it going? Good to have you back here. TJ is one of the best encouragers of the woodworking group. So TJ's Wood Shop, gotta check out his channel. He does a couple interesting things. So I am really looking forward to a couple things coming in. I have something to send you that I've been meaning to send to you like 5-6 months now. So hopefully that will be going out as soon as this last piece comes in. So yeah, look for that, TJ. Colin Buzzy? Sorry, Colin. If you can't tell, I am horrible with names. What books did you read when you started working with hand tools? None. I have to say I learn horribly from books. They are almost worthless to me. I went to my library and went through my woodworking section of books there, but I really didn't buy any. I basically flipped through, looked at the pictures, and if there was a picture that interested me, then I would read the section. So I'm really not a good suggestion for books. I think if I had to pick a couple, let's see, Hawk has a book on how to sharpen everything. And that's a really good walkthrough on sharpening. He goes through, saws and chisels and gouges and all that type of thing. A lot of the information is kind of a no-brainer once you get into sharpening, because as soon as you learn to sharpen one edge, you can sharpen a bunch of others. But it's good information, good pictures. I really liked his book. But other than that, I'm sorry. If you're a book learner, fantastic. I just can't help you there. I'm not a great learner when it comes to reading things. 99% of all of my hand tool knowledge comes from YouTube and the community and talking with people. So if I had a problem, I would call up a few other buddies and say, hey, how did you fix this? YouTube is really a key way for me to learn. You have to be kind of careful because there are some good things and there are some bad things. And especially with hand tools, there are 1,000 different ways to do it. And you'll have someone who's saying, this is the way you have to do it, and all other ways are bad. And no, everyone has their own personal preference and the way you work. And there's ways I like to do things that are different from the way other people like to do things. And as I've learned, I've changed what I like to do. And so you kind of have to take everything with what works for you. What do you like? And find those ways that best benefit you. But YouTube really is the ultimate source for me in learning something. It is almost always out there. Some things you just have to dig a little bit deeper because hand tools aren't quite as common. But yeah, sorry I can't help you. I really didn't read a whole lot of books. Oop, jump down. I jumped. Where did I go? Trying to find where I left. There we are. Mike Dillon. I'm looking at building a desk for my son by hand. It's been super helpful watching your content. Thanks, Mike. Looking forward to seeing your desk. And yeah, if you ever, when you finish it, send me some pictures. I'd love to show people on the shop update. Any hints on your power equipment? Yes. Let me start by saying a couple things. The dresser has taught me many things. I've had a lot of people really asking me, can you do more furniture builds? And I would love to do more furniture builds. But I'm dedicated right now to putting out 3 videos a week, a shop update and 2 shop videos of how to or building something. And building furniture just does not fit into that category because most of the time you have 4, 8, 30 pieces to do that are all identical. Well, I can shoot the first one, and then I have the rest of the week's worth of work to do that isn't benefiting me in producing a video because I can't get any more video content out of doing the same thing over and over again. And so power tools are fantastic for that. Anytime you want to do one thing 1,000 times, power tools are awesome because all the time in power tools is spent in the setup. The problem is I don't have any space for my shop, and I really don't want to take over the garage. And so I don't want a planer, a table saw, a bandsaw, and that type of thing in the shop. And I want to try and implement 2 or 3 power tools that are hand driven or in your hand type of tool that can speed up the shop. Not as much to show them in a video, but more or less to allow me to get through doing the 30 pieces in a row, so I can do furniture builds in a more regular basis. So next time I need to dimension 50 board foot of stock, I can dimension one board by hand and shoot that, and then I can do the rest with a planer and actually do more material faster. So I'm going to be doing a video on using a hand, a hand power planer, and showing how that can kind of be introduced into the shop. And then I haven't quite decided if I want a small table saw or a small circular saw for large rips that you just want to get through. And they're not something I'm going to be doing, they're not the average tool that I'm going to be using all the time. They're just the times I want to speed up process to get a larger piece through the shop and actually get a video out for you guys. And so that's kind of what I'm going to be implementing here. A hybrid shop a little bit, but yeah, they won't be something you see all that regularly, other than the fact when I use them, I will show it in the video. Like, yeah, I'm going to do one by hand, but for the extra 100, in order to get this video out on time, I'm going to run them through with this power tool. And so it won't be changing the aesthetic or feel of the channel, but more or less allowing me to get out more material to benefit you guys so that more can be seen faster. So I hope that answers the question, and probably I'm going to get a lot of thumbs down for that, but oh well. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to showing that. It'll be a couple interesting videos, and they'll probably be thumbs down through the floor, but oh well. I did one of my scrubs, actually. Burley Woodworks. Oh, you made one of the scrub planes. Cool. Yeah, that's a great way to use an old cheap plane. I love those things. John Burkett, this week's build, how to turn an old 10-speed into a joiner. Yes. No, that's one of the... I was going to be doing that now after the dresser, but due to buying the house we're currently in and remodeling the shop, I have to put that off until I remodel the shop. But I am going to be building a large flywheel and powering several of these larger, older tools with a flywheel. So that should be kind of fun. Prime Mover 011. Just recently found your channel, but I think you have some serious talent, and I love the content, the commitment to hand tools. Thanks for the great content. Well, thank you. And yeah, I'm loving this. A lot of people think I'm doing this for the money, and really in some ways I'm breaking even, but in most ways, if you ask my wife, I'm nowhere near breaking even financially. The reason I do this channel is for you guys. I love the comments and the community, and so things like that are awesome. Thank you. That really means more than I can say. Greetings from Pennsylvania. Love your channel. Thank you, Canon Guy 1. Interesting names. I have a small set of hand tools right now, and I've been avoiding starting on the desk. I'm not sure how I will resaw the boards. I have 2-inch boards I need to resaw to 1-inch. Honestly, just a handsaw. When I resawed for the coffee table, if you go back and look at the videos from, let's see, it would have been November 2015, something around that. I was making the coffee table, and I just used a simple handsaw to resaw with. I didn't even have a curving plane at that time. And as long as you're only cutting on the side of the wood you see, then you will find you can stay on track fairly easily. So you cut on your side, and then you rotate the piece around, and then you cut on your side, which was the side away from you, and then you rotate the piece around and you cut on the other side, so you're always going at slight angle to the wood. That way the leading edge where the teeth penetrate into the wood is the point you're always looking at, and that will keep the saw on pace. Actually, I have a couple videos on that if you want to dig for them, but yeah. Any suggestions on the best way to jump into that? Oh, there's your answer. How do you not fall asleep on your through the night drives? I it's kind of an old family thing. Or it's easier to drive through the night than it is to drive during the day. And I find if I have a really good audiobook that's engaging my brain, and I chew sunflower seeds, or I have a mechanical thing where I'll spit out the shells and just eat the seeds, but I roll them through my mouth to do that. And just keeping my mouth going, chewing them actually keeps me awake, and I really don't have any problem with it. I can usually do 48 hours without sleep and feel fairly good. When I was in college, I did a lot more. My record was, I think, 7 days in a row. Yeah. What events will be you doing at the event in? What events will you be doing at the event in Amanas? I honestly don't know. I'm just going to be kind of hanging around. It's one of the problems of being a YouTube personality is, no matter where you go, people are going to be walking up to you and talking to you. So I'm basically just going to be wandering, and I will figure those out when I go. But yes, Wood Nerd, I am going to be at Handworks. I'm really looking forward to that coming up next month. So if any of you guys are going to be near Iowa, or even if you're not, travel out. It's 2 days of nothing but hand tools and a lot of fun. Hey James, have you considered making any wooden boxes? Your video when you had about 1,000 subscribers on how to make a Pac-Man really inspired me woodworking, if you plan on making more vids like that. This is from Burley Woodworks. Yes, I do have other boxes that I want to make. I have done a couple of videos on it. I did one for it's my wife's anniversary. So last May, I made a fairly fun box. Did a lot of little carving in it. So if you want to go back to last May, there was a video there. Most of my videos have been driven by completing the dresser. And now all the videos are being driven by rearranging the shop. So I don't have a lot of time for those ancillary projects. But hopefully soon I'll be picking up a few like those. John Burkett, pick up preformed tiles from Home Depot. Not sure what comment that was referring to. Oh, like for the floor mats. Actually, I don't know. I'm one of those weirdos. I don't like having mats on the floor. I find that kind of weird. And the wooden shoes, I can stand in those all day long, so I don't have any fatigue issue with them. So I don't know. I've never been a big fan of the foam mats on the floor. I guess I'm just weird. Thanks again, TJ. Hi from Wisconsin. Just too busy watching other woodworking channels to get any of my own projects done. Yeah, that's always the problem. There's too many good videos out there. And where at in Wisconsin? I used to live in Watertown, and I'm actually only 3 miles south into Illinois, so not too far away. Yay, 50 watching. Where did you get your patience? I want everything done yesterday. Patience comes from not having all of the other things in the house. I used to have a full power tool shop, and I'm very much the same way. I want to get through things. I want to get them done. And patience is a skill. It is not a gift. It's something you have to learn. And it is a hard skill to learn. But yeah, it looks like patience, but it's really not. It's just me being stubborn, I guess. Well, Bird from the Caribbean, and thanks to you, I bought some hand planes. Big screen bird. Oh, yeah, Bird from the Caribbean. Got it. Cool. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Looks like you're right on the road. Let me know if you get a 1. Husband handmade. I'm interested in you microphone holder. What is that? You have a link. Yeah, this microphone is the Yeti blue. And this is a microphone holder. Sorry if I'm tapping it. I just got them on eBay. Actually, if you go to my website, woodbywright.com, I have a tools list of things I have, and I actually have all of my video and audio equipment in there. So if you want to see links to those, you can go to woodbywright.com and see that. But yeah, I really like this as a simple thing because I can just plug in USB and plug it straight into my phone, so I don't have to have a mixer. I do like actually having a mixer, but this is a cheaper, simpler route, and I get fairly good quality for it, so I like it. And that's where I can get a lot of the interesting voices. Sorry, I had to. Let's see. Nebulosity. Sorry, man, I don't know what the name is. I'm probably completely misreading it or seeing where the word breaks would be. James, I've always wanted to ask you this, but is this your day job? If not, what do you do? No, my day job is I am a stay-at-home dad. I have 3 kids. They're currently 4, 5, and 6 years old. And we found out that at my old job, I was making slightly more than the babysitter. So there's no reason for me to work a job, and so I've stayed home with the kids. Well, that has given me the chance to actually have them in the shop, and so you often see the kids in the shop with me, and it's just kind of fun to have them in there, and I can spend time working at the computer while they're playing at the Lego table, which is Lego table, and so I can actually spend some time with the kids. This is not my full-time job. I do not make enough money. I'm barely breaking even, if that. So this is a hobby for me. Maybe someday, but we will see. Once you go down the slippery power tool slope, ... No, I really do not have any desire to go into power tools. I have no desire to get a router. I have no desire to get a big table saw. I have no desire to get a planer or joiner. I really don't. I love the hand tool work. And if I wasn't making videos, I wouldn't get any power tools at all. I enjoy it. I like spending an entire day down dimensioning a board. That is fun. Maybe I'm a little weird, but yeah. The power tools are just there, just like a video camera, to help me get the videos made. So, yeah. Tom Spillany. One of these days, Tom, I really want to learn how to spell your last name, but Tom, yeah, thank you. How are you from Connecticut? I am good, but I'm not from Connecticut. Thanks, Tom. You are one of my favorite supporters. I love when you give comments, and you give quite a few of them. Thank you. Whoop, jumped too far. If any of you have questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I'll probably be here for another half hour or so I should be able to get to more of them. Have you made videos on how to use a handsaw to cut boards? It's super helpful. He made a video on... Yes, I have made videos on how to cut boards. I've made several videos on how to saw straight or how to saw on an angle, how to sharpen saws. Yeah. Thanks again, TJ. You are one of the great supporters. I love when you make comments like that. So keep it up, man. Love what you're doing. I appreciate how much time you put into the channel. I've learned so much from your videos. Seriously, you and Paul Sellers are my YouTube heroes. Thanks again. Nebulosity. I'm guessing I'm saying that right, but I don't know. But thanks. To be in the same sentence as Paul Sellers means a lot. He was one of my main YouTube channels when I first got started, and love what he does. Thanks for the resawing and cutting tip. Yeah, it really, a lot of people have the problem between hand tools and power tools, because with power tools, the skill is in setting up the tool. And the more expensive and better the tool is, the less skill you need to set it up. Once a table saw has been set up, any monkey can run boards through it. Whereas with hand tools, The skill is not as much in the setup. Yes, there is some. So, I mean, having a saw set right and sharpened correctly makes a huge difference. But the skill is in using the tool and actually feeling the wood. And that is not something that you can just do. It's not something that I can tell you how to do it and you immediately do it perfectly. It's something you have to learn over time. And with any of the hand tools in the shop, the only way that you will get better results is to use them more. And resawing is one of those things. Any type of sawing, in particular, the more you do it, you'll find that your cuts tend to get a little straighter, and they get a little cleaner, and you're not having to do as much forcing to keep it on track or backtracking and recutting. It's going to take years of practice, and I do mean years of practice. The only way it will get better is if you do it. And it's about the best advice I can give to you. Do not get discouraged by bad results with any hand tool. The only thing you should get discouraged with is stopping using it. Just use it more. Learn about the tool. Learn how it feels. Learn about the sound. And you will find over time it will get better. But you have to use it. So, what type of finish could I use on a dining table? Thinking of using leftover Douglas fir for a dining table. For dining tables, I really like a wipe-on poly. It is a good water-resistant surface. I don't have to worry about if a kid knocks over a cup and spilling on the table. Poly is kind of like the ultimate durable finish for me, other than epoxies. And I really like the way, especially if you get like a matte finish, it looks great on the table. You can still see some of the grain work in there. Yeah, that's what I like. I'm using water locks on the dresser. Water locks is a little bit less water resistant, but a great film finish. And with water locks, I love the way it brings out the color in the wood. So even for a dining room table, if you don't have kids, water locks would be fantastic. But I have 3 kids that are 4, 5, and 6, and my table is usually wet more than it's dry. And so that's why I would go with a poly on there. So hope that answers your question. That was from Michael Schumacher. Sorry, it's an easy last name and I'm butchering it. I'm sorry. Raven's Path. Looking forward to being at Handworks. Cool. Looking forward to seeing you. Yeah, come up to me. If any of you say hi, ask me for a sticker. I'll carry him with me. Hi from France. Martin. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to attempt that name. Sorry. Hi from England. From America. England. Why did I even say that? I'm 250 miles away. Will be the 3rd trip to Handworks. Cool. Yeah, I wanted to go last time, but wasn't able to make it. I was out in Pennsylvania still then for the last Handworks, but I'm really looking forward to being here for this one. Right outside Madison. Cool. Yeah, I used to live in Watertown, so not too far, about 45 minutes east of Madison. I'll actually be up in Madison in September. Going to do a marathon there. And that is probably the closest woodcraft to me in Madison, so I'm often up there. How does one use the depth stop on a Stanley router? Cobley Spell. Sorry, last name of Spell. By depth stop, well, more of the modern routers, like the new Veritas, actually have a depth stop, so you can't move the blade down any further. The older Stanleys do not have that. If you're talking about the depth stop, the little foot that can come down in front of the cutter, that will eliminate how much material the cutter will take in each pass, so you can slowly work down without moving the cutter down. But the actual depth stop on a Stanley hand plane is the bed of the plane. If you have the blade locked at a certain depth down from the bed won't allow you to cut any further down. So I don't know if that answered your question, but I would probably need a little more specific to talk about particularly what depth stop you're talking about on a Stanley router. The creepy podcast voice, yes. Everybody likes a creepy podcast voice. Well, Okay, maybe not everybody, but Mike Dillon. I picked up a few old Stanley planes on eBay cheap, and they were pretty rusted. It was so much fun restoring them and learning about it. Yeah, I love restoring tools. That is something I really enjoy, and I have a bunch of them. I have a, let's see, I have a 5.5, I have a 6, I have an 8 that I want to restore and become my primary users. Then I have a whole pile of wooden planes. And once I get the shop set back up, I want to do a bunch of restoration videos. So you'll be seeing a lot more of those coming out once the shop is up and running again. Yeah, I am very lucky. This is from Dr. Crazy. I am extremely lucky to be a stay-at-home dad with where I am, and all three of my kids like being in the shop. And it's nice that I can actually shoot videos with them in the shop, and that's why I built them their own bench a while ago. And so they'll be banging away on things in their bench. My daughter actually has her own channel, Melody's Workbench, and we're working on her tool tote right now, and so hopefully she'll have a video coming out with that. But yeah, I am extremely lucky to have the life I have, and I am in love with it. My hobby is my life, and that is a lot of fun. How long have you been woodworking, James? I have been woodworking since I was about 5 years old, since my father dragged me along into the shop when he was making things. I've made tables and chairs and bookshelves and dressers and end tables and coffee tables and cabinets and all sorts of things. The first project I made by myself, I was probably like 6 or 7 years old. I made a box to hold things in. Actually, I think I still have that somewhere. I have to go look for that. When I met my girlfriend, who's now my wife, I made everything in sight I could. She probably has a good dozen jewelry boxes that I made and all sorts of different gifts. But yeah, I've been woodworking all my life. Hand tool only is just in the last couple of years when I sold all of my power tools and become hand tool. So yeah. Calling me a monkey, Brian. Yes. You calling me a monkey? Yes, I'm calling you a monkey, Brian. You're a monkey. Hi from Russia. Sorry, I can't read Russian, but hey. James, what's your plan for the future in the shop? What future will you build? Well, initially, I'm going to be doing a video on making a saw bench. I'm going to be doing a video on making a new primary workbench because my current primary workbench won't fit in the end of the shop. So I need to make a slightly smaller one that will be for most of my work. I'm going to be doing a backdrop wall. So I think I'm going to be doing a French cleat wall with a whole bunch of tool hangers. So that will actually be the backdrop for most of my videos. I'm going to be doing a video on shop lighting, on a video on making some of the tool hangers, possibly making a tool cabinet. I'm not 100% sure if I want to make a tool cabinet or just have everything displayed on the wall. And then once that is done, I have a couple little furniture builds I want to make. I have a bunch of tool restoration videos I want to make, several carving videos. I want to be making a large flywheel to drive a pole lathe. I want to actually do some turning, so I'm going to be making a couple different lathes. And eventually making that power unit so I can do other things like a foot-powered scroll saw and other things along that line. So a lot of fun things coming up, but right now it's going to be the saw bench and the new workbench. So hopefully those will be coming out. And yes, I have had several people ask me. I am planning on doing plans for both the workbench and the saw bench. So those should be available on my website soon. And I do have plans open now for the dresser, which the last build video on the dresser will be coming out tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah. Yes, a dull saw really does suck. And if you ever want to get into sharpening saws, don't be afraid of doing a bad job sharpening a saw, because I can guarantee you, if you try to sharpen the saw, you will make the saw better than it was before. It may not be perfect, but it'll be better than it was. So don't be afraid about learning to sharpen a saw. It won't be perfect, but it will be sharper. And the more you do it, the more you learn, just like with anything else. Hey, TJ is going to have a giveaway on his channel. Looking forward to that. You're only like, what, like 30 or 40 people away? So if anyone's here, run over to TJ's channel and subscribe to him, TJ's Woodworking Shop. As soon as he hits 1,000, he'll have a giveaway. I love 1,000 subscriber giveaways because it's actually a really good chance of winning. Usually it's like 1 in 100. So yeah, everyone go subscribe to TJ and see if you can give him some more subs. Do a giveaway here soon. Yes, I am finding out the hard way that the difference between hand and power tools is true. I'm finding that chiseling is a huge challenge in feeling the wood. Yeah, this is from Jay Howe. So much about hand tools is learning the wood, hearing it, feeling it, and that's only something you can learn by doing it more and more. And soon you'll just get this sense that you can't explain, that you know when you've hit a chisel too far, or you have that weird feeling when the chisel's starting to get dull. And yeah, it's something you only learn by doing. But hearing and feeling are fantastic tools in hand tool woodworking. I have a few old hand saws I picked up from Craigslist and need them cleaned. Once I get that done, I will get to resawing started. Yep. I love how you can get old cheap saws, and with a little bit of work, they're just as good as a $200 saw. I love good old saws. When looking for a Stanley No. 4, what's the upper limit of how much I should pay? I find a lot of good ones, but the prices tend to be 80 plus. I like restoring tools, so I rarely spend more than $5 to $10 on a hand plane. But that is usually rusted and need 2 to 3 hours worth of work. So I'm not as up on the hand tools. A good, let's see, last time I saw a Stanley No. 4 ready to go, all cleaned up and spiffy looking, was probably about $45, my guess. So 80 is definitely on the high side unless you're getting into the collector range. For a No. 4 or No. 5, I don't think I would spend anything above $45 on one, unless it's in the collector range. eBay, in my experience, has been expensive. Craigslist is usually expensive. People want far more than it's worth. In my area, estate sales are fantastic. That's where I get a large majority of tools. Midwest tool collectors, go to mwtca.org and see if there's a meeting around you. You will get any tool you want, a great price on them. I love going there. Some places you can get them at the farmers markets and other swap meets like that. They're not as good around here, so it's something you got to play with. But yeah, if you're looking on eBay, I rarely ever buy any tools on eBay. They're fairly expensive on there. Shoemaker. Thank you, Michael. Went too far. Back up where I'm at. Hi from California. What would be a good filler for pine wood? I want to match the best as possible finish. There are so many different colors in wood filler. You have to make it yourself. You have to match it yourself. They come in every rainbow of the color. So usually, I like to actually, if I'm matching a color for a stain or a finish or a wood filler, I will take a test sample and actually test 3 or 4 different types until I find one that matches the color. So yeah, I don't use wood filler much at all. I like to let my gaps and open spots show. I might fill them with epoxy, just to kind of make it pop and stand out and make it more of an architectural thing. So saying, I do know that I have a gap here, but I'm going to show it off. So I rarely use wood filler, but that's my own personal thing. Hi from South Africa. Hey, how's it going? My wife spent about a year in South Africa, so one of these days I want to get back out there. But that's a lot of fun. For Stanley for number 4, those prices are reasonable used, but expect to do so. Yeah, and prices will vary greatly wherever you're at. Like if you're out in California, prices are through the roof. If you're around here or like on the northern East Coast, they're fairly cheap and common. Down south, they're a little less common, but I haven't done as much searching down there. Hey, Ox in the shop, how's it going? Glad to have your sticker on my wall now. Yeah, if you ever get a chance, go check out Ox in the shop. His YouTube channel is kind of cool. Not Only Wood, hey, another YouTube channel. Looking forward to getting your cutting irons in the mail. Not Only Wood made the irons for the router planes I just recently made, and waiting for those to come in to ship a couple of those out. So yeah. Oh, you're a stay-at-home. No, Ox in the Shop is also a stay-at-home dad. There are a lot of YouTubers who are stay-at-home dads. That's kind of how Matt Cremona got into it, from what I understand. Well, he was a stay-at-home dad when he quit his job, and what he was doing just had to make a little bit more. So yeah. Trying to get ready for a show I have this weekend. Cool. Looking forward to it, Ox in the Shop. What video editor do you use? I use Adobe Premiere 2017. I like Adobe Premiere. Is just it's $20 a month for the Creative Cloud, and it's very, you can do just about anything you want. It's very, very good for that. I used to use HipFilms Pro, and that's a free editor, and will do most anything you want it to do. But it has a few odd quirkinesses I just wanted to get around. But yeah, doing this with 3 videos a week, Adobe Premiere just makes everything fast and clean. So that is my editor of choice. That was from Michael Shoemaker. So yeah, I'm just making a draw knife video. Will be out next Thursday. Cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that. It's from Not Only Wood. Ooh, TJ, his channel is only 5 people away. So if 5 people from this group go over to TJ's channel, and you'll see him in the chat, he'll be doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So yeah, hop on over there. Oh, Ox in the Shop is also doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Cool. Yeah, hop over to his channel too. Be kind of fun to have 2 of them going on. Sorry, reading down through the comments, seeing where the questions are at. Yeah, you do get to feel when a chisel hits a knot or a piece of metal in the wood. That's one of the reasons why I hate using reclaimed wood unless I have a metal detector. I banged up a chisel a while ago found a nail in the wood. Not as happy as I want to be. I jumped again. I'm planning to build my own shop or shed, but there's not much space, so I'm starting to collect hand tools. Your videos have been very informative and inspirational. Well, thank you, Garrett. Yeah, that's really one of the reasons why I got into hand tools, is having the basement shop. My shop was only 8 foot by 10 foot and getting kind of tight. We didn't have the space for everything else, so hand tools are fantastic for that. Are you going to do these live shows weekly, monthly, or whenever? I try and do them once a month. they were a Patreon perk when when Patreon hit, I think it was 200 subscribers. I decided to do one of these a month. And so this is number 6. I've been 6 months in a row. And I'm actually getting really close to the next goal on Patreon. And that one's going to be kind of fun because I'm going to be doing a build once a month just for patrons on Patreon. And so that should be kind of cool to do something that is only for that. So yeah, really, really close to that goal. Burley Woodworks also has a subscriber giveaway coming up on 5,000 subs. Cool. Looking forward to it, man. So, have I reached the bottom of the comments? Yeah, reached the bottom of the comments. So I guess that's about it. Unless anyone has any particular questions they'd like to ask, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I've really been enjoying these, and I try to do them at different times every month. So this one is done at noon on a weekday. I think next month I'm going to try and do it at noon on a Saturday, so that it's open for more people. And then I also like to do them in the evening because a lot of people are free there, but then it's not as easy for people in Europe. So we'll be doing a few of those, but yeah, one a month. Looking forward to it. Oh, a couple more questions. What do you think about dovetail plane? Would you like to have one? I have a dovetail plane that is great for making like sliding dovetails. I use it for, actually I used it in the most recent collaboration video where I made the coffee table with Johnny and Zach. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, you can click over there. Yes, I do like it. It's probably my most used wooden plane, actually. I do like making sliding dovetails. They're a lot easier than people make them look. Everybody asked a question. Yep. Cool. So that's about it for today. Hope you've enjoyed this. It has been a lot of fun for me, and I'm looking forward to doing more in the future. So yeah, if you ever have any other questions and I'm not either put them in the comments of any particular video. I do try and respond to all comments. But if you ever want to ask me a particular question, feel free to send me an email anytime. You can find my email on my website, and I do answer all the emails that come in, at least any of them that are worth answering. Yeah, spam is not worth answering. So, but yeah, feel free to ask me a question anytime. I'd love to help in any way I can. So that's about it for today. I hope you liked the video, and until next time, have a wonderful day.